Good afternoon, everyone, and happy Sunday Fun Day. It's May 22nd, 2022, and I'm in Love Language Minutes. We were outside and um, it got pretty hot and sticky quickly, so we skedaddled right back in. I'm having some serious lower back pains. My body, my energy level is plummeting. So I keep praying that my remedies are going to be formulated so I can get back on those. And so I just got to lay low when I get like this. I did a little bit of pruning because to me that's not work. It's never been work for me to do that. Like in a setting like this, I'm just helping out. So I'm going to read yesterday's because yesterday I did a lot of napping. So May 21st in Love Language Minutes, title was Expressing Love Brings About Change. The prodigal son returned home to his father, and while he was still a long way off, his father saw him coming. Filled with love and compassion, he ran to his son, embraced him, and kissed him. Luke 15, verse 20. Boy, I remember that of my dad. I was blessed with two, though. Thank you for that. How do you stimulate growth when you are married to an irresponsible spouse? You know, rather than calling them irresponsible, how about acting like a little kid? Because that's usually what it is. Because then they throw a temper tantrum. You know, and it's funny when you take the anger out of it and say, okay, well, when you're done with your temper tantrum, because that's how you need to be treated, is like a little kid, then we can have communication like we're adults. But until then, you just go about your business and do whatever that's pissed you off, and I'll go over here and sit down. It's a great place to sit down. I'm telling you right now, you sit there and you kind of giggle to yourself and you just watch all the disgust and then the crazy part is you get some laughter out of it. I don't know. You could try that. But irresponsible spouse, no. I just say they're acting like a 2-year-old. Or you can, an age. But if you just it's amazing what happens when you use that type of communication in a situation. Like you're the mom and they're the kid. I don't know what it is with men. Sometimes they need that to get their heads screwed on straight again. I found that quite effective in my years, just so you understand. I have used it, and it has always had a 100% effective rate and turnaround. Exactly what I've said. So try it out sometime. When there's all of a sudden a heated argument on the one side, and you're like, wait a minute. Especially if you've volunteered to help out. And some you really don't want to help out, but you're helping. And then you're not doing it the right way. Well, you know what? You can just do it yourself. It's amazing when you start turning the tables back on them. They want to do it. They want your help. Then they're going to dictate to you how you're going to do it. No, that's not how it works. You can have a positive influence on your spouse if you take the right approach. Bingo! Ta-da! How do you stimulate growth when you are married? Yeah, to an irresponsible spouse. I'm just bothered by that. I just don't even like that sentence. Didn't like the first time, didn't like the second time. I think I read it 3 times. But anyway, we've talked about locating the source of your spouse's behavior. There we go. It's a behavior issue. Ask questions to determine why he or she is irresponsible. Why, how about, who pissed in your Cheerios? Or whatever you want to come up with. Did somebody upset you today? Because you're lashing out at me. I mean, there's so many other approaches to deal with your spouse that's angry, male or female, whichever the way. Next, I talk about opening the door to change by admitting your failures, Here we go again with failures. Negative, negative, negative. How about a hiccup? Hiccups make us laugh. Can you imagine? Think about your any situation you've been in with your spouse where you got a heated argument. Go back and look at that situation in a different light. Look at it as a mother. What would a mother see in that without you looking at yourself as yourself? Just look at it as an outsider looking in, and what would anybody see in that conversation or that heated argument? Were you talking at each other? Were you playing tennis and passing it back and forth? And it was a friendly argument and it ended up, turning out okay? Or did you just do a slam dunk and belittle the other one and there was no reason for it? I mean, there's so many other ideas that I could pop out, but those are just some that just popped into my head. So, how about admitting your own hiccups or your own moments where somebody gave you some negative energy and they pointed the finger at you or judged you or they pissed you off. So you're carrying that on the weight of your shoulders and you got to get rid of it somehow. So what's going to happen? Your spouse is going to get the grunt of it, and that's not what they're there for. You got to figure out how you get rid of that anger within. You got to confront those demons, tell them to go right back down to HE double toothpicks where they have chosen to live. They didn't want to follow God's law, so that's their choice. But some way, somehow, before you get your tail end home, you need to clean up your act and be thankful that you have a spouse waiting for you at home that loves you unconditionally. I don't care if it's 2 minutes home. You figure it out. Or take a drive. Don't take that shit home to your wife or your children. Because what you experience doesn't belong in your house of worship. Just saying. So I'm going to say this again. Next, I talked about opening the door to change. How about we just do that? I'm going to the rest of it doesn't even matter what it says because I don't even like it. Today, I want to encourage you to seek to meet your spouse's need for emotional love. There we go. Now that's beautiful. You may be thinking, but I'm the one who doesn't feel loved. Well, then if that's the case, you need to tell your spouse, why you don't feel loved. And do it in a loving way, not in a hurtful or hateful way. I assure you, your spouse is going to, no matter what, feel hurt because they don't want to hurt you that way ever. Not a loving and caring spouse that went into marriage for life. Not just for, oh, well, there's the grass is greener over here, so yeah, you're not worthy anymore, so I'm going to move on to the next one. That's not what marriage is about. And you that keep doing that, well, you'll see. Just saying. I've been married once. And I never remarried. Because I believed in my vows. I wouldn't have said them if I didn't. He, on the other hand, refused to sign the divorce papers when he gave a month's notice at work. Amazing how man cowards. Hey, it was the decision he made. He certainly didn't include me with any of it. Because he gave a month's notice at work and lived with me for an entire month and lied to me every day. That's not a man of honor. That's not a man of integrity. That is not who I thought he was when I married him. But I was willing, irregardless, to go to counseling or whatever we needed in order to make it work. He was not interested in any of that. So I did what he instructed me to do and helped him get his things and pack him up and get him out of the house. That's what a warrior does. You put on your breastplate of righteousness and the belt of truth, and you victoriously go through no matter what this ugly world has thrown at you. You turned him. And you don't worry about anything anymore. I don't. I'm just trying to get these toxins out of my body that man keeps poisoning me with without my permission, so that I can continue fighting for the rights of every person on earth, including my own, and every animal that lives on the planet as well. Because frankly, I've had enough of the bullshit. We need to use our voices for the greater good and silence those that are harming us. I haven't watched the news since 2011. I watch real TV now. I seek those that are telling the truth, because they finally can't take it anymore seeing it, so they're all coming out of the woodwork, left and right. So the government's plan is backfiring. We aren't afraid of the big bad wolf. I'm not anyway. And if you are, release those demons that are making you live in fear, because there's nothing to fear here on earth. There's nothing to fear. I understand. Let's see. You may be thinking, but I'm the one who doesn't feel loved. I understand, but you are also the more responsible one. Well, in your own mind, right? You're the one who wants to see change. I think that you both want to have change. I can't imagine, and I had over 300 tax clients. I can't imagine anybody want to live in misery every day, day in and day out, for the rest of their life. It's not what they signed up for. My advice is, on those days that you get darn right mad, you go back to the day you met each other and start reliving it together to find that love and rekindle that fire you had for one another. Because man's world is so filled with sin that it's made acceptable for spouses to have other sexual interests on the side. Yeah, that's a sin. Oh boy, that's a bad one. Infidelity? Oh, very bad. If you speak the primary love language of your spouse, you are taking a step in stimulating change. Why? Because a person who feels love and secure is more open to change. Okay, I'll give you that. Didn't Jesus love us when we were unlovely? He died for us while we were still mired in our sin. See Romans 5, verse 8. Doesn't the Bible say that we love him because he first loved us? See 1 John 4:19. A beautiful example of this comes in the prodigal son's story. When the son returned home after squandering all of his money, the father ran toward him and embraced him even before he knew the son's heart. In the same way, loving your spouse before seeing any change is one of the most powerful steps you can take in stimulating transformation. Like I said, why did you say I do? And why did you ask the other one to marry you? Revisit that day. Revisit your courting. If you want your marriage to work under God, that's what you're going to need to do to get it back and get it right with Him. You need to get right with your families too. You need to get your houses in order. I can't stress that enough. I've been telling that for the last 3 months or so, even maybe longer than that. I was given that advice last February. And Lord knows I've gotten my house in order. He just keeps changing the location. And I think I'm home here for a while. I haven't felt any nudges to head anywhere else, so. And He's not saying you're moving, you're leaving, you're not. So. It's funny when I wake up and I have a song in my head. That's Jesus. It's truly fun to live like this. You should check it out. Hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry I got a little long-winded. One never knows what's going to happen, so stay tuned. I have more coming up. Up to all bunches and bunches. Bye.